Hello, this is Melissa, your insurance exam queen, and we are here on this channel to help make sure you can pass your insurance exam with ease and confidence.
Okay, so Sonia, you texted in the chat that you need the confidence to reschedule my life and health exam. So talk to me about what has happened that you need to what's going on? Talk to me.
So I've been taking the practice test with your package. I think I'm struggling on is I can't seem to get above 65 or 70. And I feel like I have to score higher on those in order to be able to take the test. And so
Okay.
that's kind of what I'm struggling on.
Okay. All right. So you're taking my practice test. You're saying the one in the life and health exam pack.
Yes.
Okay. And you're only scoring about a 60, 65. You're not in the 70% range.
Close to there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, have you, I just want to understand, have you watched all of Gold? Have you watched the videos?
Yes. Yes. I'm kind of doing
Okay.
both.
And then, have you, what was your score because you took the test before, correct?
Right, correct. When I took it the first time, I didn't have the practice quizzes yet.
Okay. And what was your score the first time you took the test?
I think it was 58 or 60 or somewhere around there.
Okay, so 58, 60, and now you're doing the practice test, you're getting 65.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, so first of all, awesome, you have growth, right? So on the state exam, you were you were 58, now you're around 65. So first, I want to honor and recognize that you have some growth that is happening. So we want to celebrate that. A lot of times throughout this process, we have this set standard. It's got to be a 70% or we're failing. And a lot of people will put it at 80%. They want to see on the practice exam. So if your bar is set at 80 and you're seeing 65, that is heart-inducing panic for a lot of people. So first we want to, lower our bar to 70. I don't know if you have 80 in your mind. I know a lot of people tend to do that, but 70 is our bar. But up to that bar though, any amount of growth is something we want to celebrate. Too often throughout this journey, we diminish or minimize the fact that we're working hard, that we're studying, that we're doing the work, and we're learning this information. But if we don't immediately hit that bar, or we don't hit that bar when we think we should, it demoralizes us, and we get down on ourselves. And then we're stuck in this pattern of, I can't do it, I'm a failure, whatever the thoughts may be. So do you feel like you have any thoughts like that? What are the predominant thoughts in your head about taking this test again?
Exactly what you said. Exactly what you said.
Okay. So a lot of times it's not so much about, because you're studying, correct? You've watched the videos, yeah. You've read the information, you're doing the work, right?
Right. And I'm actually getting help.
Okay. Okay. So a lot of the times it's not so much, I need to study more, study harder, study something else. A lot of the times, because we've got the mindset component, like our thoughts and our feelings, and then we have the actual studying of the test and learning the test. Most people only focus on studying the test and learning the test, and they forget that they've got to focus on their thoughts and feelings as well, because our thoughts and feelings actually create our reality. So if you think, I'm going to fail this test, or I'm a failure, I can't do this, and you feel that in your body as well, that's going to be the reality that you see when you take the test, no matter how much you study. So we have to get both of those things in sync. We have to get not only I'm studying and learning this information, but also my thoughts and feelings have to be in alignment with passing the exam as well. So what I would encourage you to do is, continue doing what you're doing with studying, but celebrate your growth as opposed to like, it's not enough, right? So if my mindset is it's not enough, I can't do this, I've already failed before, how am I going to do this again? If those are the predominant thoughts in your head, they are what's going to create the reality that you're experiencing. But if you can get your thoughts over to, I can do this, I can succeed, you know, this is meant for me, I can do hard things. If we can switch your mindset to that, then it begins to create your reality in which you can pass the exam. So I actually have an entire playlist on YouTube called, you know, Mindset, where we just talk about your mindset. We don't even talk about, you know, what type of policy do you need if you want cash value. It's not about that. And so much of this is like, and I try to tell people too, like, sometimes you didn't meet me so that you can learn how to pass the insurance exam. Sometimes you met me so that you can heal yourself. So like the school system, like one of my first, went back when I did like one-on-one work with people, you know, she studied. She just kept failing. She couldn't get a pass. And just talking to her, like, she had so much pain in her body about her abilities, about her skills, about her worth, about, you know, everything. And we literally went to the root of the issue, where is, you know, she went to a Catholic school where they literally beat you with rulers. And she was like, they always put her down. She was never smart enough. She basically was all the feelings and everything that she had experienced, the trauma of her childhood was showing up now in front of her way of being able to take the test. She knew the information. I could ask her anything and she could give me the answer. But when she sat down to take the test, all of that trauma came in of, you're a failure, you're not good enough, you know, from her childhood would show up. And so her body would literally shut down in a way so that she couldn't access all the information that she studied, and she wasn't able to pull off a path. So much of the work I did with her was not actually studying. It was undoing and healing the parts of her that were made to feel small, diminished, you know, dumb and stupid. You know, I grew up with a father who constantly called me a moron. And so I had a belief that, you know, I was dumb. and I still, to this day, like, there's things where I'm like, I'm just not smart enough to do that. You know, like I can teach the exam and I can do that, but I'm not smart enough for these other things. And so I'm still working through, you know, healing, you know, parts of me. So, and I also feel like as the insurance exam queen, I'm actually fixing some of my karma in a sense. Like, as a school teacher, I perpetuated a lot of that stuff, that failure. If you're failing, you are a horrible person. And failing is the worst thing that you can do. And if we don't fix this, you're headed down a bad path. And I perpetuated some of those ideas. I, you know, put that on my students, you know, to tell them, to convince them that they can't fail, that failing is awful, and not allowing, like, not, you know, like the self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, you're not a good student, you don't know what you're doing. And, you know, I feel like part of my work now is helping people unpack all of that so that they can sit down, take the test, and succeed. Another component of this as well is, as an insurance agent, Sonia, what is your job opportunity, or like, what are you working for? Like, why are you getting this license?
A different career.
A different career. Okay. Now, do you have a job lined up?
No.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Do you know what it is you want to do within the insurance world yet, or no?
No, there's probably many opportunities. You know, I lost my job last year, and so this is a good opportunity for me to change careers. And, you know, I'm in kind of in a situation where I feel like my life has changed, um, where I kind of need this at this point.
Okay. Okay. This is a good spot to be in. You're in a place where I need something different. Here's an incredible opportunity and I'm going for it. So as an insurance agent, there are many routes that you can take. But if you're going to be doing sales, essentially, where you're getting people to sign up for insurance, there are going to be times in which you are not, and there's like so many different jobs and things that you can do. In the life and health space, most of the jobs available are more commission-based, 1099. You don't make money unless you make a sale, okay? And not to say that that's the only job, but those tend to be the most popular jobs. Like anybody right now could sign up with a company willing to pay them commission for a life and health job. It's a lot harder to find a remote or a salary-based job in the life and health realm unless you were to work for like a call center doing Medicare, which is definitely an option, but they don't really start hiring until spring. They're already deep in the Medicare season, so they're not hiring for new people yet. But anyway, my point in this is that, and even if you had a W-2 job where they pay you a set salary, there is going to be a requirement that you produce a certain amount of sales, that you get a certain number of people to sign up. So in the course of doing business, when you're sitting down trying to get people to sign up to buy the insurance, some of them are going to say no. Some of them are not going to be a yes. And if you take every no as like a punch in the gut, as a failure, you're not going to be able to sustain yourself in this new career. You have to be able to be a person who can hear no and still be okay. So part of failing the state exam is helping you to build your resilience in receiving a no and still being able to hold that and move forward and meet the next person and get up and do work the next day. This is a career in which you can make. I just released an interview I did with Alexis Laskins, who part-time, 2 days a week, because she had two babies at this time. She now has 4, but she had 2 babies. She was part-time, 2 days a week, and she made $98,000 for the whole year. That's money she received in her account. She actually made more than that. But after all the fees, everything she had to pay, whatever, $98,000 is what was deposited in her account. And she only worked 2 days a week. So it is so possible to make a good salary income, not salary would be the wrong word, a good income in this field. But the majority of people fail. The majority of people, when you look at the statistics, the majority of people who become an insurance agent do not make it. And most of them will quit, find something else, and give up. And that is because they have not built the resilience, the character, the tenacity to be able to sit through not making a sale. So if I sit down with somebody and I'm like, hey, you can buy this policy, and like on one hand, it's possible, depending on what you're selling, that you could make $800 if they sign up and buy. Like 1 hour of sitting at their kitchen table, selling them insurance, you can get an $800 check. And if you're sitting there with them and your mind is, I need this money, I need to make this sale, they have to say yes. And then they say no, then you get crushed. And you're like, oh, I just lost. In your mind, you lose the 800. Like you lose. And we have to not be in that mindset, because it doesn't feel good when you're sitting at the table with someone who's like needing you to buy. If they need you to buy what they're selling and you can feel that, because we forget that this world is a world of actual feelings and emotions and the vibes. You know how like you're driving and it's like someone's looking at me and you look and you can see that someone's looking at you, like that's energy in the world. And so when you're sitting at the table and you're coming off with this needy energy, I need you to buy this policy. I need to feed my kids. I need to make money. I need to have this sale. They're going to feel that it's going to be yucky and they're not going to want to buy the policy. So much of being prepared to enter this industry and to actually be successful at it requires the ability to hold failure. It requires the ability to hear a no and be okay. You have to be able to hear a no a fail on the exam, a no for a sale, and say, that's all right. I'm going to meet another person. I'm going to have another opportunity. It didn't work out for them, and that's okay. But I'm going to be okay. I will have more clients. I will have more opportunities. This is not the end all be all that I didn't make this one sale, that I didn't pass this exam the first time, or whatever it is. So when we fail the exam, a lot of it is trying to build our capacity to hold when we don't make the sale, when that doesn't work out. And at the end of the day, like, you don't want them to have something just because you need money. Like, that's actually a really gross feeling when you think about it. I want you to buy this just because I need to make commission. Nobody really wants that. You don't really want that. They don't really want that. We don't want to make this about money. There's plenty of money to be had. and there's so much money that can be made. But when you actually focus on your impact and helping people instead of the money, it actually makes making the money a lot easier, because money is just a byproduct of the impact that you're making on the planet. So, like, this is something that I've gone through as the insurance exam queen. The insurance exam queen is a wildly successful business. We are worth $10 million. I can sell the insurance exam queen today for $10 million. We receive tons of money from people buying, the courses and the quizzes and all of that stuff. But it's not about the money for me. It's about being able to help people pass the exam, the impact that we can make. And so I've focused on the impact of helping people. That's why I have free content. I've got the YouTube content. I've got free notes under the resources. And so many people have been able to pass the exam alone just using those free resources. And so in my mind, it's like, I'm not focused on the sale, I'm focused on the impact. And if I can get myself in a place where I am impacting people in a way that is positive and helping them, the money will come in, the income will come in. And so, but I had to hold the space for that. I had a W-2 job, secure paycheck at ExamFX. I was making decent amount of money, double what I had made as a school teacher. And I gave it up for a commission-only job. I only make money if you guys choose to buy the courses. I only make money if someone, buys the Gold Class Series package. There was no guaranteed money coming in every week just because I was signed up for a job. So now it depended on me, my thoughts and my feelings, and my impact that I was making on the planet. And so I had to hold the space between, what if people don't buy, or what if people are a no, or whatever it was. My first month, I only made $220. That was it. The first month I was in business, $220. You can't survive on $220, but that's all I made in the business. But I had to hold the space of, now, of course, anybody would say, of course, you should have stuck it out. But there are some people who are like, even my sister was like, Melissa, $220, that's not enough. Like, I don't think, maybe you need to go get your job back, but I have to be able to hold the space between the $220 in the first month to the $7,000 in the fifth month, right? I had to be able to handle the no's. I had to be able to handle the capacity of waiting for that income to come in. So every time we fail our exam, every time we're going through this, we're actually building our capacity to hold the space between where we're at and where it is that we want to go. So if we're failing the exam and we've done the studying, we've done the videos, we've done everything that we can, the first thing we want to look at is our mindset. What are my thoughts and what are my feelings? And if my thoughts are failing, or that I'm a failure, this is not for me, or I'm always dumb, I'm always stupid, I can't do this, that's the reality that we're going to create. So we need to shift our thoughts and feelings to, I can do this, I've got this, I can study, I can do hard things, and I'm going to have to be able to hear no's. I'm going to have to be able to sit down with the customer, sit down with the client, offer them the product, hear them say no, and be totally okay with that, without thinking my world is over, without thinking that I'm never going to get money again. So it's so much of this is rewiring our thought process, rewiring our feelings to work for us instead of against us. So many of our wirings in our brain actually are driven by fear instead of being driven by, excitement for what it is that we get to do. So you're at this precipice of, I have this new career opportunity. I need something different in my life. I see that this is an opportunity that I can go for. I've failed. And so now I think that maybe it's not for me and I need the confidence to do it again. Like, doing it again is what is going to build the confidence. And Sonia, I don't care if it takes you 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. If you're going at it with the thought process of, I've got this, I can do hard things. I will pass it when I'm meant to pass it, because honestly, what's meant for me cannot be taken from me. So if you are meant to have this new career path, you will have it. It cannot be taken from you. You've just got to build the character and the tenacity and the resiliency that you need to be able to hold the space of, if I don't make a sale, I will be okay. Because it's so yucky and gross if you're sitting there with that customer thinking, if I don't make this sale, my life is ruined. If I don't make this sale, everything I've worked for is over. You've got to be able to sit at the table with those people, present them the offer, and be able to hear a no and be okay. And be totally fine. And also to be able to say, okay, I understand this didn't work for you. If you change your mind, let me know. Also, if you know anyone else who could benefit from this or would need this conversation, please refer me. We have to be able to hear no's gracefully. We have to be able to receive people who are not a yes, but and then ask them for other yeses. So it's so much of this is just developing our character within ourselves. So I can keep going. So I just want to ask, how do you feel now that we've talked about this?
I feel like I can go ahead and reschedule the test, after we take the test with you. Because
Yes.
I've worked
Okay.
so hard for this. I think another problem I was having is just trying to decide on whether I'm gonna go back to the location that I previously taken it, but I had a bad experience there. So I mean, I'm not quite sure if I want to go back, but it's the closest location to me. It was so noisy at that location. It was just hard for me to focus. But then I kind of contemplate whether I should take it at home or not. But the problem is, I'm honestly not tech savvy. So it's like if I have a problem at home with my computer, I'm not gonna know what to do, and I'm afraid the proctor will disqualify me if I have a problem. So it's just kind of
Okay. Okay. I want you to change locations. I want you to pick a new spot. Like I was telling you earlier about the woman that I was working with, and she studied, and she failed. And a lot of it was trauma from her schooling. She also, she decided that the last time that she took when she passed, right? So she finally passed. And what was interesting is that she took the test 2 hours away from her house. So she actually, I think there was something else that was going on, or something, I don't remember what it was, or maybe it was the closest, the scheduling was I don't remember exactly why, but for whatever reason, she actually she stayed at an Airbnb. Her friends ran an Airbnb, so they let her stay there. So she drove 2 hours away to her favorite town. This is a place that she loved to be. She loved to hang out. She stayed the night there. And the testing location actually was on a college campus. So she walked on the college campus. It felt so good. She ended up being in a private room all by herself. And the proctors were so wonderful. And she passed her exam at that time. So if you're not feeling the best about your location, then change it. And honestly, you can take the test anywhere. You can fly to New York and take the test. So any Pearson, I think it's Pearson that does Nevada. So any Pearson location, you can actually take the test at any of their locations. So look on the map, Find one that feels better for you, schedule the exam, listen to the mindset playlist on YouTube, and I feel like you're going to be in a much better position to be able to pass.
So this is Melissa, your insurance exam queen, sending you all the loves, all the vibes to pass the exam. Have an amazing day.